All right, we're recording. Thank you so much, Christine. I tell you what, I love having amazing business partners in this business. I tell you, being in Vegas, I thought we need a control center. And who do I text? Christine. And she said, sure. So she's recording for us. But thank you guys so much for being with us tonight for our Wednesday night training call. This is going to be a real treat. I get to introduce you all to one of my MVP besties. I just love her so much. We have shared strategies and talked and kept each other engaged in some really strategic methods for our teams together. She's someone that I absolutely call whenever I need just a little bit extra brainstorming. So you've got to have that kind of person in your business, and she has been that for me for sure. Lori Funk, she actually started the business 12 years ago. She went regional vice president, got her company car within 8 months of working the business, and then another 5 or 6. Lori, you didn't say, is that years or is that months that you went nation? I don't know if that's months or years.
6 years, Tammy. I took a little
Oh.
break, not a break. I just decided to hang out at Region for a while.
That's okay.
Not
because
choice, it's. I'll share that tonight.
Okay, that sounds great. I know, seriously, it's your journey though, and that's what's so awesome is we get our own journey to be able to help other people. So it's going to be a great night with Lori. And Lori, I'm just going to let you take off, and I'm just going to sit here and listen and take it all in, sister. Love you very much, and thank you so much for giving yourself to us tonight.
Well, I love you, and you guys are so blessed because, Tammy said those things about me, and you're so sweet. I love you, Tammy, but I always go to her as well. And you guys, I've always watched these Oklahoma MVPs, and just God has blessed my socks off by having them in my life and allowing me to become friends with them. And they're just good people inside and out, and they know how to build a business right. And so you guys are so blessed with the best, and just your entire success line. I love them all, and they're just a huge gift to everybody that knows them. And so I know that everything I'm going to share tonight are things that you already know. But I hope, and my prayer is that it will touch your life in some way. And it is your journey, and there's a couple of different things I'm going to share with you tonight. Tammy wanted me to share how I found my VPs on my team, and so I'm going to talk a little bit about that. I'm going to talk about how to change your business in 90 days, and I'm super excited. I listened into Tammy's just genius, and I listened into her call up that she's getting ready, that she just started with you guys on the 90 days to success, and I was like blown away. I learned things from her every single time, and so you guys are super blessed, to be on that. And then I'm going to share some success tips with you that God has really placed on my heart that I truly watching, with just sitting back and just watching so many things when it comes to success of what I truly feel is what is keeping people from their best. And so I'm going to talk about all those things tonight. And I have one of my dear friends that I would have never known if it wasn't for Arbonne. She is a second generation new RVP. So we're now building RVPs in depth. And Natalie Burton is with me tonight. Say hi, Natalie. Hi. And I'm actually in Florida with her. That's what I love about what I do is my family decided to take a road trip for the week. I called it our Arbonne Road Tour. And we love our families in Arbonne that we're so blessed to do life with. And so Natalie flew in. We drove down to Destin, Florida, and met with her sister. And we're staying here with Kayla. And we're helping her build her region this week. And did some opportunity with her. And we're just staying up late talking. And our kids are playing so hard that they can't even stay awake at night by the time night gets here. And I absolutely love it. And that's one of my favorite things in Arbonne are just the friendships and the lives that we get to do life with. So she's going to share with you in a little bit, and it's going to be a huge blessing. So strap on your seatbelt. But I was thinking today as I was going to share and just praying over what I was going to talk about, and I want my message to be change your vision, change your life, change your focus, change your life, change your energy, change your life, change your business, and change your life. And so when I look back at my journey, there were several times in my journey that I had to change my vision. And really, truly what happened is many times I stopped sharing my vision. And if you ever stop sharing your vision, you stop growing, and you hold other people back. And I had done that a few times. So my first shift in my business was when I first started Arbonne, and I changed my vision because I decided that I didn't want to settle any longer in this one life that I get. And I wanted to build a great future for my family. And I watched my parents be entrepreneurs. I was a kindergarten teacher at the time, and I had taught for 8 years, and I absolutely loved it. But I just knew in my heart God had something bigger for me, and I wanted to make an impact on the world. I just didn't know how I was going to do it. And quite frankly, I was really kind of shy and terrified to ever step outside of those 4 walls that I was staying inside in my classroom and staying safe. And so I kept being introduced to this thing called Arbonne, and I said no 8 times. 8 times. And I'm going to talk about that a little bit tonight, because that's important for you to know and to understand tonight. The 9th person got me. And a lot of it was timing. We were 1 payment away from losing our home. I was spending more on my classroom than I was making, but those kids they did not have everything that I wanted them to have, and I was buying everything I could for them, shoes, socks. I was sewing kids' clothes and making gloves and hats for the kids that would come to school and not have them. And I don't regret any of that. And I know that God put me in that position financially, or I wouldn't have ever been here. And sometimes right before the rainbow comes the storm. And it was the perfect storm in our life. But I'm super thankful that somebody asked me again to take a look at Arbonne after my husband had came to my classroom one day and told me that his commissions weren't coming in. He had left teaching and coaching to sell life, health, and annuities, and his commissions hadn't come in. And so I was always the fixer, and I didn't know what to do at that point. And so I did what I only knew to do, and that was ask my friends to pray for me at school that day. And so I walked across the hall and asked them to pray for me. And God brings things to you in forms that you don't really understand at the time. I got another call about Arbonne, and I was like, Lord, you got a sense of humor. I don't like talking in front of people, and I was terrified. I was like, I teach kindergarten. I really was praying for my husband, not me. But I was introduced to Arbonne one more time, and my friend asked me for a huge favor to come to her ribbon cutting, her business launch at the time is what we called it. And so I went. Now, I got excited about what I heard. They put a fire in my heart about toxins, hidden toxins, and reading labels, and what these products were doing for people and why other products weren't safe. And you guys, they put a burn in my heart and my belly to go help people get better and to help my own family live healthy. And it was their vision that helped me get excited. But what I got even more excited about is the opportunity, because I found out that this girl that had started Arbonne was now in 2 years making over $25,000 in 1 month. And I thought to myself, why not me? Like, I wanted a better life. And so that was my first shift. I changed my vision for my future. I started to believe in the possibility if somebody else could do it, why not me? And so that was my first shift. And I jumped in with both feet, and thank goodness we did not know who our leaders were. That's another thing. My leader got me because she said that I will find a way and we will go to the top in this business. She didn't know what she was doing. We didn't even know how to train ourselves. We got on the internet. I don't recommend this, because in today's Arbonne world, like, you've got Tammy, stay in her back pocket. Do not go searching for any answers, because they're right in front of you. But we didn't have that. We didn't know who our VPs were. We were actually sponsored by somebody that loved to sample out of Texas, and we didn't know what in the world we were doing. But my friend had a vision for us, and I wanted a better life. And so because she shared that vision, I started, and I didn't have a clue. And we found a getting started training that luckily was from an Oklahoma team on the internet. And it was a simple process of 10 to win. 6 for success, 8 to be great, 10 to win. And I jumped in and I did 10 to win. And you guys, my first month I became a district manager. My second month I went into qual for area manager. And my third month I finished area. In 8 months I had my Mercedes. And I didn't know anything but 10 to win. And so I knew 6 for success, 8 to be great, but I ignored that because I wanted to be the best. And if 10 to win meant winning, I had no choice. I was 1 payment from losing my home. And so I jumped in, And I followed a simple process. And you guys follow your leader's simple process. I tell my team today, you have no excuses for not winning, or staying stagnant, because we have so many ways to win in Arbonne with all the reach out methods. You guys, we back then in the covered wagon days built our business with an RA9 set and some makeup and a baby line. You guys, today we build our business with a 30-day program that's literally transforming people's health, and an RE9 set that you can see results like no tomorrow. I've never seen anything like it in all my 12 years of Arbonne. And then we have our baby line and the whole 9 yards. I mean, our cosmetic, like I had a girl come to my house and meet me last week and bought almost $1,000 worth of Arbonne because I got it on her skin. And she bought the 30-day program, the makeup, the cosmetics and the skincare, and the rescue and renew line. You guys, we make this way too complicated sometimes. We just have to get it on people's skin, and that's what we did back then. My other shift was my vision changed after I became an RVP, and I told you earlier I would talk about that I went RVP and I quit sharing my vision. And I kept asking my leaders over and over and over, they joke about it now, that I would call 3 NVPs up and ask for what I was doing wrong. And every one of them tell me the same answer and then call each other and say, hey, did she call you again? and they were like, yes, she called me again. I was looking for the magic answer, and it was right in front of me the whole time. And finally, one day, Valerie Edwards said to me, Lori Funk, go out and meet 5 new people a day, and you won't have time to call me and ask me what's wrong anymore. And I was bawling my eyes out. I still remember where I was at. I was at the pool. My son was getting swim lessons, and I know the other moms were probably like, I don't know what just happened over there in the corner of the pool, but she's crying her eyes out. And it was a shift for me that day, but the biggest shift came later on when I was at GTC, and one of my district managers looked at me and said, why aren't we a nation? And I looked at her right back without hesitation, and I said, how could I ask for more? I've already come home to my little girl. And right when I said that, and I meant it like sincerely, like with a good heart, but right when I said it, it hit me that I made it all about me. And I started crying in the stands at GTC so hard. And she looked at me and she said, Lori, if you would tell us what you need, we'd do anything to help you get it. And I started crying even harder. And I said, I'm so sorry I've quit sharing with you where we were headed. Because I knew at that moment, when they all pitched in to help me win, they were all going to go forward. But because the leader had quit sharing the vision, the team quit growing. And I had just made it all about me. I had what I wanted and I was comfortable. And you guys, how dare I do that after being blessed so much in this business early on? And so there's nothing like realizing that your team's waiting for you. And I told them that night at GTC, you guys, we're going nation. And I was terrified. I was terrified to work again. Like, what? That is crazy, because I am not afraid of work, but for some reason I had gotten too comfortable. I was terrified of all the what ifs, and I had to quit making it about me. And I went out there and we put it out there, and I started doing my own activity, because you're the best player on your team. And as a result, all these people started going area and region and nation. And we became a nation. And so you guys, change your vision, change your business, change your vision, change your life. And last but not least, I had another shift in my business after being a nation for a while. Somewhere along there, I got scarcity mentality, and I quit sharing the vision again and started focusing on maintenance instead of growing people. And you guys, I want to challenge you tonight to take this business from your head to your heart. It's not about you. It's not about the titles. It's about how many people we help grow on this journey. And Christy Dreiling, one of my amazing leaders, called me out of the blue and said, Lori Funk, why aren't you guys doing 300,000 with the size of your team? And I made all these excuses and tried to act super positive about, how great everything was. And she kept asking questions until the onion layer was peeled back enough, and I started bawling, and I said, she goes, Lori Funk, what do you love about Arbonne? And I started crying. I said, Christy Dreiling, if you took it all away from me today, I'd do it all again, because it's my mission field. And I still get emotional about that. And this is my mission field. I love all the precious hearts I get to do life with and help see their lives change and see them step into everything I knew that they could do all along. I love seeing them grow and, you know, just see their precious little children's eyes watching their mamas and daddies do brave things. And I see their kids become stronger leaders because they have watched their families do what most people will never do. And I just remember pouring my heart out that day and saying, this is my mission field. And she goes, Lori, then why don't you quit worrying about all the stuff and just go do what you love? And I give you guys permission tonight to quit worrying about all this stuff and just go do what you love and go build people. Take this thing from your head to your heart again. And it's amazing what can happen when we do that. This past January, I got on my knees because when I had made that shift back in 2014, we promoted 4 cars within a few months. We had 2 double car celebrations. And I promise you with all my heart that would have not happened if I hadn't have gotten out of my own way and gone down the staircase that day after Christy got off the phone with me and looked at my husband and said, babe, strap on your seatbelt. There's a lot of precious souls on our team, and it's time to go take them to region. And so the leader holds the key to the vision and the energy on your team. And as a result of that, I had so many decide they were ready to go. And I said I would coach them if they were ready to go and that they would commit wholeheartedly. And your leader has committed wholeheartedly to coach you these 90 days of summer to help you go to the next level, but you have to step into that. And I had 4 step into that and go region. And as a result of that, all these lives changed. And so in January this year, I got on my knees again and prayed. I had lost my dad the year before. And for about a year and a half, as I locked arms with him to help him go to every doctor's appointment and just be by my mom and dad's side while he was so sick, I hadn't been the vision holder for a while. And I was so proud of my team because they stepped in and grew even when I wasn't available as much as I had been. But they're amazing, and it was time for me to show back up again and be there for them and show them the vision. And I got on my knees in January. I said, Lord, please show me bigger than 2014 how we can promote more white Mercedes drivers than we did in 2014. But I need you to show me a better way, even better than 2014, because in 2014, we shared the vision, but we also locked arms and we did third-party validation like no tomorrow. We helped each other. And you guys, divine appointment just weeks later. I love how God works. I get a call from my friend Ashley Stone, and she was in Qual for Nation. And I didn't ask her specifically. I just said, will you do a call for my team and share what you've been doing? And I had no idea what she was going to share. And she got on the phone with us and shared some things that literally, you guys, in January, in 2 weeks, tripled our numbers on our team. And literally in 90 days, we promoted a region, and now we have 8 we're working with. We got 6 and 2 more I haven't even told Natalie about that are on the verge of regional vice president, and 2 about to hit nation qual. You guys, all of that in 90 days. So I want to let you know that really my shift in December was I decided to pray and listen and follow what God leads me to do instead of praying and then trying to take the wheel. And he is so amazing in that department. Like, he is my rock, and I love to be able to stand on truth and certainty and listen to his guidance. And he's never in 12 years steered me wrong ever. But I want to turn it over to Natalie to share what happened in her business in 90 days. And then she's going to turn it back over to me. And I want to just end with how I found all of the VPs on my team. And also, what I want to share a story as I end with what I truly feel like is going to be a huge shift for all of you. But I want Natalie to share what she did in her business in 90 days to literally take her numbers to nation numbers. Like, she is about to hit nation qualification. So Natalie Burton, new regional vice president.
Hi. So honored to be on this call. I did not know I was going to be doing this. Lori had some tricks up her sleeve. I'm so blessed to be on here with you guys, and I love sharing my story because it's just crazy. It still baffles me a little bit on what all happened. But you know, I started this business 3 years ago, and I was not looking for anything like this, and it just found me. I knew that God wanted me in Arbonne from the very beginning, and so I didn't pushed that away. I tried at the beginning, but then I just went all in. I knew that he wanted me in Arbonne. I didn't really know why. And I actually I moved pretty quickly. And that was another sign that just showed me that, yeah, he wanted me in Arbonne. And so I became an area manager pretty quickly. And then, you know, I was a very solid area. My sister became an area manager right after me, like a month after. And so I was hitting halfway to region about every month for about 2.5 years. And it was, you know, I was making great money at that level. I was very comfortable. I got very comfortable, like you said you did at region. And so, you know, I was going on different trips and different things, AIT trips. And it wasn't until the Bahamas, the last AIT trip in October, that things started changing for me. I realized that these ladies, and most of them were regional vice presidents and national vice presidents on this trip, and they were talking about the things that they were doing with their money. You know, that the things that they were doing with their business, and that they were fully funding these orphanages and, you know, feeding the hungry and just all these things. And I thought, okay, I'm playing way too small and I'm playing way too selfish. And I know that if I go and I lock arms with my team, that I can do more, be more, give more. And so I came off of my worst month. That was my worst month since I started. It might be great for some of you. It was $14,000 when I got back home from that trip in October. And I, as an executive area manager, you should be hitting 20 because, you know, one has to hit 10, the other has to hit 10. And so I decided to just declare where I was headed. And I made a video that in November, about November 3rd or something of last year. And I said just how I was going to stop being so scared, and I was going to start talking to people, and I was going to start worrying more about my team and stop worrying about myself. You know, I wouldn't do calls like this. I wouldn't do calls like this with even my team because I was so scared of what I would say. I was so scared of what they would think about me. And that was making it all about me. And so I'm so thankful for that shift. So my first shift was declaring it and making that video. I actually kind of forgot about that video, but Ashley Stone came along, and actually I think that I first went to a women's encounter in February. When did she come and talk to, or when did she talk to us?
I think she
was it February?
Was it February?
I don't know, but I know that I went to this. She might have talked to us first, but I know that I went to this women's encounter with my church, and I went because my sister-in-law was really seeking the Lord, and she just wanted. You know, she asked me to go, and I'm like, well, I've been a Christian girl my whole life. I felt like I kind of knew, you know, I didn't really need to go, which was so selfish of me, but I went for her. And I also, you know, whenever I was heading there, I started praying for the fear and the anxiety to be washed away. I've never battled anything more consistently in my life than fear and the anxiety that comes from it. And so I was praying that God would change that. And, you know, I left there with so many great changes in my life. I mean, I was so thankful coming home. I wanted to go home and I wanted to change my family life. I wanted to change, you know, my marriage, my parenting, my business, just so many things, my friendships, my leadership. And that's what I did. I came home and I just was on a mission. I was gonna do great things. And so then Ashley Stone, or maybe I just finally started embracing the Ashley Stone 20-minute calls. And that, she was right. I mean, it changed everything in my business. And because of that, you know, I didn't embrace it. Maybe she didn't do it in January. And that's why my team started kind of embracing these calls. They were wanting me to get on it. And I was on the call with them because we were doing the third party. And I'm like, sure, I'll do this call. I don't even know what I'm going to say. But I would get on there because I knew that I just stepped up for my team. And so we started sponsoring so many people from these calls. So if you're not using those, I don't know. I mean, you need to be using these. These calls they're crazy, and it's crazy how fast things can happen from them. So we started telling just my story and just what Arbonne can do for them, that Arbonne is not in the stores, and this is the only way that we could get it out to them. And we're just thankful that they would hop on and be a set of ears for us. And so that led to sponsoring, which led to more activity. And we got into so much activity that I couldn't even keep up. And I started, you know, helping I started making it about them and my team. And so these area managers started popping. I haven't been able to sponsor an area manager since fourth month in Arvon, so I didn't know how to even do that. And then we sponsored 3, or I sponsored 2 and 1 in qualifications. And so in February, after when I got home from that retreat, we went into Region Qual with, actually we were about 10,000 whenever, about, about the 22nd of the month, we were sitting at 10,000. I don't know if there's any of you that are sitting at 10,000 right now, but know that Region, it can happen, because we ended up, I told my team, I rallied them together like on this call, and I told them that we were going Region, and my sister actually, she knows my numbers, and she was like, okay, she was scared to death that I was going to tell people this. And sure enough, we brought in 41,000 that month. And then the next month, I was just I knew it was going to happen, because I had been praying, and God was showing up so big. I was praying over everything, over every call, over every presentation, over every Zoom, and it was crazy what happened. So whenever we finished with 61,000, and then the next month we were hitting almost halfway to nation. And so it's been quite the journey, but I do know that surrendering your business over to God, He can change everyone's heart. So if people are telling you no now, give it to Him and watch what will happen. So thanks for having me.
Thank you for being on. I've watched Natalie turn from fear to faith, and I just challenge you to choose faith, not fear, because I think a lot of us live in fear and of all these different things, and the enemy really can just try to bind you up and hold you hostage and cause you to believe things that are just lies that are straight from the enemy. And so you guys, I want to just encourage you to choose faith and walk out there and do it anyway, and just quit trying to overthink everything. Natalie taught me so much when it came to peace. I know that God can give us peace that passes all understanding. And I gave all of our leaders, I'm going to talk to you about those calls. I gave all my leaders, my areas, and my VPs the book Fervent by Priscilla Schreier for Christmas, because I truly, I share with my leaders this year, I wanted to stand on truth and certainty and not the lies that the enemy tries to feed us. And that book has been an incredible blessing to us, because we just put on our armor every day to go fight this battle. And I cannot even tell you what a blessing Natalie's been to our entire team, because she showed us what can happen when we surrender our business and quit trying to do it all ourselves, and we start working together and we give it all to God. So it literally changed in 90 days, but what was really cool is her team was embracing the same surrender and deciding, and so many people's lives have changed. And this one girl who had been frustrated since 2015, you guys, only doing barely 1,000 in sales, really got in Natalie's back pocket and started praying as well and reading that book and showing up. She showed up for every meeting. She said there were 4 things she did in her business to make a change. Because literally, you guys, the month that Natalie decided to go, and I want you to know you're a variable in your business. You're the vision that will make it be a catalyst for change. And Natalie called me that day and said, I'm going to do 10,000 this month, and I'm going after my team. And when she decided to show up that big, her team decided to follow. And so Kelsey was one of those. And Kelsey stepped into it and went from frustrated, barely hitting 1,000 since 2015 to 10,000 in sales that month, with 10 new team members, embracing these 20-minute calls with Natalie and myself. But I think Natalie did the majority of them. I barely got on a few. But she was getting us on 5 to 10 20-minute overviews a day, 20-minute overview calls, and we were just scheduling them back to back. And we just literally sent out a text message we encourage them to send out this text message. And if you guys don't have that verbiage, I can get that to Tammy, but I think she has it. That it's literally asking people to be a set of ears and letting us share for 20 minutes. And this girl took it serious, and we had 10 new team members. Second month did 17,000 with 20 new team members. It was crazy. And the rest is history. So you guys, 20-minute overviews, but you guys are better together. You're powerful together. And so embrace those calls. You guys, how many will you share the gift with? A simple text, a yes, and getting them on the phone with your leaders. It's so simple, but it's changed our business. And the other thing that Kelsey did was she read that book. She got everybody on 20-minute overviews, and she drives an hour to our meetings because she says she's got to go fill her cup up so she can fill other people's cup up. And then last but not least, she was doing those 20-minute calls. So you guys, here's what I saw a change in Natalie's business, Kelsey's business in 90 days. Energy. And what did she do to change the energy? She surrendered. She quit living in fear. She decided to give it all to God. She started reading that book. She started getting people on 20-minute overviews, and she started talking different. She started painting a vision for people like no tomorrow. And she started building us up as leaders and saying, you've got to get on a call with them. I mean, she makes us feel like we are like queen for a day when she gets us on a call. She builds us up so much. And you guys, I want to tell you tonight as I end this call, and then I'll share with you how I found my VPs real briefly, but change your energy, change your business. You guys, what's your energy level? I think we have an energy crisis in America. People are literally living at idle. I want you to create a hot to boiling in your business. Stir this up. Start talking a different game. Start talking a different game. You guys, my son plays baseball, and we were at a baseball game this weekend, and it was a 2-day tournament. And the first day I sat there and no parents were cheering at all. And they were losing. It was like 14-2. I'm not kidding. And the kids were kicking around dirt and throwing their gloves down and crying in the dugout. They're 10-year-olds. And I leaned forward. My husband's like 4 parents down. And I leaned forward and I said, they need a clear eyes, full heart, can't lose speech right now. Like, you know, when you're in Arvon, you know, if you've had any training that your vision, focus, energy, you can change anything at any moment. And I don't mean that in a weird voodoo way, but I just mean like the joy of the Lord. You know what? It renews your strength. Like, get the joy back in you. And so I always sing that song, the joy of the Lord, it will be my strength. You guys know that song? So I was like, we got to get the joy back. We got to get the energy back. And I go over. So finally, one of the parents leans forward because my husband doesn't move. And she goes, you're the Arvon lady. Go give him a speech. And so I'm like, oh my gosh, now the introvert in me comes back out. I was terrified. I was sitting there because I was out of my element. In Arvon, I can talk any day. But I was scared. And then I thought, Lori Font, get over yourself. Go talk to those boys. So heart pounding, I walk over to the dugout. And there's this one little boy that's at my house all the time. Like, he's at my house all the time. And he has so much passion for life. And these boys share so many things with me. And he's just passionate. And I called him over and I said, Brady, you have so much passion. You're a born leader. And he looked at me and he stood up and he quit crying. He stood up taller and he goes, I am? And I said, yes, you are, Brady. And your team needs you. You got to change the energy. And I said, change the energy, change the game. I said, go over there. I said, I used to be so scared to play you guys because my son was on the opposite team the year before in Carl Junction. I said, I used to be scared to play you guys because you guys would all chant for each other and cheer each other on. And I knew walking into that game that we had a fight to put up because you guys had so much energy. I said, change the energy, change the game. You guys have quit cheering each other on. And about that time, he walked over, he quit crying, he walked over, and he started changing the energy, and they started chanting. And this other little boy came up to him and yelled, who's sick of losing? Let's go show this team how to win a ball game. And I'm not kidding, everything changed. I started chanting, the other parents started chanting and cheering for them and yelling, and everybody was at unity once again. Everybody was unified. You guys, it takes 3 things to win. If you want to do something big in 2017, you need communication, unity, and perseverance. Can I get an amen? Okay? And so if you will get those 3 things, you guys, how many of you are talking about your win? Or how many of you are talking about the loss? Quit talking about the losses and start talking about winning the game. Those boys turned everything around this weekend because they started changing their vision and they started focusing on winning instead of losing. They started cheering each other on. They started communicating. And so what are the 20-minute calls? Text it out, text the verbiage, and start being in unity, working together, sharing the story together. You guys are better together. Create the energy, change it, and you will create so many VPs and change, and you can be a catalyst for so much change. How did I find my VPs? I simply made friends. I made new friends everywhere I went, and I still do. I love connecting with people. All you got to do is ask questions and build relationships. We build people. We don't sell products. Quit talking about selling products. Start building people. So I met one of my VPs, who's Natalie Burton's sponsor, and I met her getting my nails done at a salon, and I thought, Lord, put me by her. She is the hottest chick in the room. I mean, I could see her radiating joy and love, and you can just tell somebody that radiates happiness. And I thought, that's who I'm looking for. You know, people often ask me, how do you pick a team member out? And I'm like, I just pray for the most servant-hearted leaders, because I know God will do big things with them. And so who are you looking for? Everywhere I go, I look for the person that lights the place up. And I just pray that God will put me near them. And that day, by divine appointment, they sat me right beside her by the end to dry my nails. And we started talking. And I didn't tell her everything. Sam Walton wouldn't tell all of his business in a Walmart checkout line, would he? No, he would set an appointment. And so I set an appointment with her, and I said, I think I may have something for you. You are precious. Will you jot down your number? I'm going to call you. Well, she figured out it was Arbonne, and she forgot to cancel her appointment. She tells the story she was going to cancel her appointment with me. And so she ended up, after like 7 meetings with her, that she was going to join Arbonne. Joy Anderson was my friend from high school. She heard about my success early on, my first 8 months of Arbonne, that I had earned this car, and she thought, Lori Funk? If Lori Funk Lori Page back in the day, if Lori Page can do this, I can do this. I'm not kidding. That's what she tells everybody. And so she heard about my success and called me. Shame on me, I hadn't called her. And thank God for grace. And she called me. Mandy Young, one of my VPs, I met her standing in line at preschool. She had cystic acne, and I don't know. She tells the story that I whispered to her and said, I can help you with that. I cannot even believe I said that. So somehow there had to be a conversation about her skin, and I said, I can help you with that. And we met and just became friends, and she did a presentation for me, and the rest was history. And Jerica Kelly is actually under Joy Anderson, so I met her through Joy. And so we've got RVPs down in depth and several direct to me. My mom is driving her white Mercedes, and you guys, she was my biggest dream stealer and told me I was crazy for the first 8 months, and I would have to tell her I wasn't strong enough, so she'd have to call me back when she was positive, and so she'd get it together and call me back and say, I'm ready to be nice now. And so you guys, if you have a dream stealer in your life, don't you be brave so that you can change their life eventually. Because if you settle because they're scared, then you've helped nobody. Playing small serves nobody. And last but not least, Heather Brierton on my team, who I'm going to go see tomorrow in Biloxi, Mississippi. She was actually on my team for years, and I would call her. I knew her because my husband played football with her husband in college, and she joined my team because she did a huge favor for me and did a presentation in Columbus, Kansas years ago. And I kept following up with her year after year after year until one day I called her. I always called her before I went on an Arbonne trip to see how she was doing and kind of drip a little bit. And I called her, and she was in a hotel bawling her eyes out. God's timing is perfect. And I said, what are you doing? And she said, well, I've been traveling 20 some days out of 30. And she has twin boys and a daughter. And she said, my little boy ran to the top of the staircase before I left and said, all you're ever good at is being gone. And she was literally, her job was making her travel 20 some days out of 30, and she wasn't getting to be a mom. So she joined my Arbonne business that night. And, she had been in Arbonne before, but she decided this time she was tired of messing around. And she followed our system, and within 90 days came home from her medical job of traveling, and has now been full-time in Arbonne with me for several years. So you guys just keep asking, keep following up, make friends when you're out there, pray for what God's going to do in your business every day, and then be ready. Be ready. And he will put those people in front of you. But I truly believe sometimes we miss the blessings because we aren't ready. We pray for it, but then right in the next sentence, we start talking about all the things that aren't happening. And so we miss the blessings that are right in front of us. So Tammy, I'm a little bit over on time, and so I'm going to turn it back over to you. But I love you guys, and I am so excited about what God's going to do in your life this year in 2017. And Tammy and I are going to New York, and I can't wait to find out how many of you are going with us that promote 6 DMs. Natalie's going. And as a result of going for 6 DMs, she is a new regional vice president. So you guys, that incentive is a game changer. And so we also have Mandy McCoy on my team who's about to hit Nation Qual, who already promoted 6 DMs. So you guys, focus on California and focus on promoting 6 DMs. And let's go create a tsunami of new VPs, okay? Love you guys.
I agree. Lori, can you hang out with us for like 4 or 5 more hours? Just saying. I loved every minute of it. Oh my gosh. Guys, I hope each of you took what she said to heart. Change your energy, change your life, change your everything about your vision. You'll change your life. Everything she said, guys, is what you've got to do. Whether you're a team of 1, you're a leader. Whether you're a team of 20, you're a leader. It doesn't matter. It all starts with us, and we've got to change the energy within our team. Because believe it or not, all eyes are on you. All eyes are on you, whether you've got 1 person on your team or you've got 100. It doesn't matter. So, Lori, thank you so much for your time. Some of you are asking questions about the call. It's what we've been doing. Lori and I have been talking for the whole year. We send out the coffee text. That is the same thing that Lori's team is doing. Her team is spread out everywhere, so they are actually doing 3-way calls, but just sharing the business through a 3-way call. So we've got the text verbiage. It's the same verbiage. We just need to tweak it if you need to do phone calls because people are out of your area. That's it. So thank you guys so much for being with us tonight. And Lori, I love you so much, and thank you for the gift of you. Love you.
Love you. Love you guys. Bye, everybody.
Read the chats, Lori. You've got lots of love letters.
I was